Welcome, everyone, to the second round of the NCAA tournament from snowy Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. From the Missouri Valley Conference, the champion Northern Iowa Panthers. From the Big 12, the #1 overall seed, the Kansas Jayhawks. All a part of the Midwest region. Kevin Harlan with Dan Bonner. And Dan, as we take a look at the lineups, what matchup catches your eye to begin this game?
I think the power forward matchup is going to be critical. Missouri Valley Player of the Year Adam Cook and the Kansas sophomore Marcus Morris. Those guys are going to have to play well.
Our officials this afternoon, Joe Lindsay and Bob Donato, a veteran of 5 Final Fours, and Michael Nance. 39-year-old Ben Jacobson is in his 4th season as the coach of the Panthers. And Bill Self, a National Coach of the Year, a 2-time Big 12 Coach of the Year, is in his 7th season for KU. Well, we've got a team that has seen a lot of things in the NCAAs, and we got another team in Northern Iowa that was in it last year, but learned a lot from that first experience.
Now they won a big game on a last-second shot by Ali Farokhmanesh. Let's see how they do against the #1 team in the country, and the Panthers start in a man-to-man.
Right off the bat, a helico will be on Collins. They go inside. Eggleseder defending Ulrich. A good sign for Kansas.
Very good sign for Kansas, and you notice Northern Iowa's not going to help Eggleseder in there. It's Aldrich and Eggleseder one-on-one. That should be fascinating to watch.
This is Cook, and he goes against Marcus Morris. Farokhmanesh inside. And Cook, who gets a lot of his points by going to the line with drives, and Eggleseder, the 7-footer, with a rebound by Cook, an offensive rebound for Northern Iowa, a much smaller team than Kansas.
And they're going to have to get some offensive rebounds, and they're going to have to make some threes, but Eggleseder has only made 1 3-point shot all year long. I don't know that he's the guy you want hoisting those threes. What do I know?
How about that right there, right off the bat? The senior from Bellevue, Iowa, Jordan Eggleseder, puts it through from 3. Xavier Henry Collins puts up a 3. He had 18 the other night with a nice little stretch in that game. And the other way now comes Johnny Moran. He's out of Algonquin, Illinois. Eggleseder establishing him early. Outside, before, and closer to the lane this time.
Well, that was a really nice turnaround jump shot. That kid's got a nice little touch. Cole Aldrich might have to get a little more aggressive and try to deny him the ball.
Kansas took care of Lehigh 90-74. And Northern Iowa beat UNLV, the #8 seed. This is Taylor from 3 over Farokhmanesh. Rebound by Ahegaba.
Ahegaba is very strong, very quick, capable of getting to the basket.
And he goes by Collins and bumps into the 7-footer Aldrich, who picks up his first foul for the Jayhawks.
And speaking of 7-footers, Kevin, Northern Iowa's done a very nice job establishing Jordan Eggleseder early. Makes that 3-point basket his 2nd of the season, and then just a nice little turnaround shot.
Well, you can almost imagine on the landscape of Northern Iowa basketball where this game ranks in the importance in the history of their program.
Well, we were able to talk to the Northern Iowa players yesterday, and they mentioned how much fun it was to play against the #1 team in the country, what a challenge it was, and it's not something that they feel they're incapable of doing.
Earlier this season, Northern Iowa beat Iowa State, and to get a feel for Kansas, they have seen a lot of the KU-Iowa State game. Just pounding home the fact they can play with a team like this. This is Marcus Morris, who had 26 points the other night. A rebound by Eggleseder.
Now Kansas has missed some open looks early, and Northern Iowa's done a nice job so far on the defensive boards.
Moran puts in a 3. This team can really stretch you. They started slow, the Jayhawks did against Lehigh on Thursday. And look at the lead by Northern Iowa out of the block, trailing by 8 like the Jayhawks did against Lehigh a couple nights ago. A 10-0 run by the Panthers. 3-point hits from outside. Moran puts one in front of the Kansas bench. Kansas coach Bill Self was talking about yesterday, we need to get off to better starts. And again, like against Lehigh, it bites him again this afternoon.
Well, he was also very concerned about Northern Iowa's ability to stretch his defense with the three-point shot. They've knocked down 2 of them already.
Aldrich inside against Eggleseder. Rebound by Xavier. Aldrich cleans it up and puts it in. This is not the first time these two 7-footers have faced each other. They faced each other back in AAU basketball in a game played in Iowa many years ago.
A little bit different atmosphere right here. A little bit more on the line.
Cook. Eggleseder.
Oh, my. Eggleseder, no fear at all. He's going right after Cole Aldrich in there. And usually Aldrich is pretty much able to shut off that interior area.
And Eggleseder inside has 7 of Northern Iowa's 12 points to start the game.
Now, Northern Iowa is an outstanding defensive team. They really work hard at making you shoot over the top. And Henry shoots that one over the top and scores. But Northern Iowa, you might wonder, say, well, wait a minute. Kansas should be driving the ball to the basket. Well, I'm sure they want to, but Northern Iowa's defense is designed to prevent the opponent from driving the ball to the basket.
Helligbaum, Cook, the senior, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. And as we welcome you, the number 9 seed from the Missouri Valley Conference, Northern Iowa, against the number 1 overall seed from the Big 12, the champion Kansas Jayhawks. We've seen an early 8-point lead by Northern Iowa. Jake Cook, a freshman, launching from long distance. Xavier Henry, who just hit a 3 himself at the other end, corrals the loose ball. Eggleseder, who is out of the game, the 7-foot center, has 7 points early for the Panthers. And inside, it's Marcus Morris, who's coming off a 26-point, 10-rebound game Thursday against Lehigh.
And Marcus Morris really got the Kansas offense going the other night against Lehigh. And he's got an advantage on the inside, and he exploited it on that last occasion.
Lucas O'Rear has taken the place of Eggleseder. So early on, we had a battle of the big men inside. Aldrich, Eggleseder. We're going to hear those names a lot today. KU in Northern Iowa on CBS. The Kansas Jayhawks started 1 of 5 from the floor. They have now hit 3 in a row from the field. Kansas, the number 1 overall seed for the 9th time since seeding started back in '79. The 3rd time under Coach Bill Self. They did it in '07, '08, and now in 2010. They beat Lehigh and UNLV in an 8-9 matchup with these Panthers, lost to Northern Iowa. That's what brings us to round 2.
Now, Jordan Eggleseder, who has 7 points in the game for Northern Iowa, he has gone out. He's a big fella. They give him a lot of rest. He only plays about 21 or 22 minutes a game, and they're just not being aware of the shot clock, Kevin.
Shot clock violation right there. Markieff Morris is now taking the floor with his twin brother starting forward Marcus Morris. Xavier Henry remains in the contest. And so the big men are gone for right now. We see Kerwin Dunham come in for the first time. He takes the place of Moran. And coming up just after 6 Eastern, number 3 New Mexico. Big story this season with Coach Steve Alford in their 2nd round matchup. The quick double on Markieff. Jake Cook, the freshman and the younger brother of Adam. The drive by Helligbaum right into Sharon Collins, who picks up his first foul for the Jayhawks.
Now, Northern Iowa is not a team that pushes the ball up the court in transition a lot, but they will take their opportunity breaks. And that time, Ben Jacobson telling his guys, get going. If they can beat the Kansas defense down the court, it's much to their advantage.
Helligbaum over Collins. So the shooting so far of Northern Iowa, 4 of 6. Northern Iowa has won a single season record 29 games. Markieff Morris setting a screen for Taylor. Marcus Morris on top. Tyshawn Taylor. A 3 by Collins. Hit a couple the other night. Lucas O'Rear, the 6th man award winner in the Missouri Valley Conference, pulls down the rebound.
Kansas, for the most part, has been limited to those outside shots. And again, that's what the Northern Iowa defense wants to do.
Helligbaum for 3.
Real quick that time.
Here's the speed merchant Taylor. Collins lasering it inside, and Marcus Morris had it taken away. Held it by the other way. They had a 3-on-2. Sonnen, who's a freshman from St. Paul, and Dunham.
Man-to-man for Kansas. The Kansas defense much better since Bill Self called that early timeout.
Northern Iowa ranked 7 different times this past season in the major polls. Lucas O'Rear with Markieff Morris defending and picking up the Jayhawk foul. That is the first against him. The game winner the other afternoon against UNLV.
Yeah, Ali Farokhmanesh, deep three with 4.9 seconds to go. The game was tied, and they ended up holding off UNLV on those last 4.9, and Ali Farokhmanesh, he was pretty funny yesterday talking about all the calls and text messages that he got from his friends after making that game-winning shot.
Tyrell Reed will check in for the first time. There goes Taylor, and there goes Xavier Henry. Cole Aldrich is back in for KU. For the first time, we see freshman Anthony James come in for Northern Iowa. Joining Sonnen, O'Rear at the line. Dunham, a freshman, and Cook, a freshman. There's O'Rear. We told you the sixth man of the year. Ben Jacobson also looked like he's kind of suppressing a smile there, saying that.
Well,
that happens when you take on the #1 team in college basketball.
It's pretty windy outside. Somebody may have opened the door and held that ball up because it was an air ball.
You're right. It is. Brady Morningstar's coming to a defensive specialist. A quick double on Markieff, and this one's going to go out of bounds on the wide pass. A turnover by the Kansas Jayhawks. They have 3 early ones right now. I told you.
Ben Jacobson, I mean, what are you going to do? Lucas O'Rear is a rather colorful personality. He shot an air ball from the free throw line against the #1 team in the country.
Sonnen. Jake Cook from Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, into Markieff Morris.
Northern Iowa was very comfortable playing late in the shot clock. That's a heck of a move.
Sonnen taking it inside. He is a freshman from St. Paul, Minnesota. Kansas has had 3 turnovers in their last 4 possessions. Reed, who had a couple of threes, some beauties the other night against Lehigh. Morningstar.
Boy, O'Rear really battling inside against Aldrich.
And he's so much smaller. The drive here by Tyrell Reed, and that is an offensive foul. That's the first on Reed.
This is what Northern Iowa does. They rotate very effectively. Reed just leaves his feet and floats a long way, allowing Jake Cook to get over there and take the charge. This Northern Iowa defense, they try to prevent you from penetrating, and when you do penetrate with the dribble or the pass, they do really well helping one another out. They have great rotations on the defensive end of the court.
You see the team foul story. This is the second 8-point lead for the Panthers so far in this game. For Kansas, 4 turnovers in the last 5 possessions, and nothing from the field for them. No points in over 3 minutes. As Northern Iowa was setting up their offense.
And Brady Morningstar got caught hanging on to Mark Sonnen's shirt as Sonnen cut through the lanes.
He picks up his first.
Sonnen just running through the lane and gets a little bump.
Dunham. And Aldrich will chase it down and get it. Defensive player of the year was Cole Aldrich out of Minnesota for the 2nd time in his career. Morningstar got a screen. Reed looking inside, as you talked about the O'Rear-Aldrich matchup. And Marcus Morris putting in a 3-point shot. Just came off the bench, took the place of his brother Markieff. And now Marcus Morris, off a 26-point performance against Lehigh, has got 5 for KU.
And Morris is a very capable outside shooter. Makes it a very difficult matchup to go out there and get him.
Cook against Marcus Morris. And that's a foul on Marcus, who's a sophomore from Philadelphia. We've got a timeout, 11:44 to play in the first half from Oklahoma City.
And keep in mind, there's only 15 seconds left on the shot clock. The last time this thing, that doesn't matter now.
Xavier Henry got a hand on it.
Really good defense by Kansas. Northern Iowa can't get the ball in bounds. Tough to play if you can't get it in bounds.
Adam Cook got the foul. I had to look up at the scoreboard. Said, was it on me? Indeed it was. Xavier Henry. Helligba gets in there. He draws a foul, poking it out of the grasp of the much talked about freshman Xavier Henry.
Well, you'll notice now on offense, Kansas is bringing Cole Aldrich out high to set screens. They really want to make Jordan Eggleseder move around. They don't want him to just be able to plant himself under the basket.
Taylor inside, the triple teamed Aldrich, shoved and fouled. I think Eggleseder may have gotten a hand on him with the shove inside. He did, and Eggleseder picks up the foul.
This is nice movement without the ball by Aldrich. He walks Eggleseder up the lane, and then he puts his back into him, screens him off. There's nothing Eggleseder can do. He picks up the foul. But Jordan Eggleseder is a guy, if you let him just stand under the basket, he can be very, very effective. You've got to make him move around on defense.
Here's Cole at the line, an academic All-American of the Year is Sherron Collins to come back in, and that means something in the Aldrich family. He's taking 18 hours this year. He'll have 12 remaining after this season, and that will get him his degree, and he'll become the first member of his family to get a college degree, something he's very proud of.
Well, it's something he ought to be very proud of. You know, Jordan Eggleseder stepped in the lane. He's really worried about Xavier Henry, who's standing next to him.
I'd be worried too.
Well, he's worried about the quickness, and Henry waits till he steps in. Now, that's just not a little step on the line. He almost stepped right to Cole Aldrich. That's called a violation, Kevin.
It is. Kansas, the 5th highest scoring team in all of college basketball. Number 5, Northern Iowa, number 287. Kansas averages 82 points a game. Northern Iowa averages 63 points a game. Eggleseder trying to set a screen on Collins. Helligba. That's pulled down by Xavier Henry, who's from Oklahoma City, here by Putnam City High School.
Notice Northern Iowa not sending anybody to the offensive boards. They're really worried about getting back on defense against the Kansas transition game.
Henry hit a 3 earlier. Fanning right there. That's off Kansas, and it will go back to Northern Iowa. There's Ben Jacobson, his claim to fame. He was valedictorian of his high school in Maysville, North Dakota. And then he hesitates. There's a class of 36. And his dad was the principal. Nonetheless, takes great pride in that. Eggleseder, Aldrich. Nice defense by Cole. We mentioned before he's the conference defensive player of the year.
Well, Eggleseder's trying to move him closer to the basket with the body, but you're just not going to move Aldrich very far.
Aldrich setting a screen.
Aldrich very, very active without the basketball.
Farokhmanesh is watching Taylor. Marcus Morris against Cook. Stepped out of bounds, lost the ball. Turnover number 5 on the Kansas Jayhawks. And Northern Iowa has gotten 5 points off that.
Well, and Bill Self knows as well as anyone that it's just really hard to get by the Northern Iowa guys with the dribble. They work very hard on moving their feet, keeping you in front of them. In fact, Ben Jacobson says that's their defensive philosophy. They try to keep the ball in front of them. They try to contest the shot and block out. Very simple. Hard to execute, but pretty simple to talk about.
This is Moran. Farokhmanesh hit the game winner the other night against UNLV. A 3 right here. He had 5 the other night and knocks one down in front of the Kansas bench. So Farokhmanesh with his first 3.
And if you think he's out of his range, you're wrong. You got to keep going after him, make him back up. I don't know that he can back up far enough to be out of range.
His range is Tulsa. As is this kid's. Reed with his second triple. Tyrell Reed. He's from Burlington, Kansas.
Now, Reed is a great shooter, but the person who made that play was Cole Aldrich. And it wasn't just that play. Aldrich's activity on the inside has forced Northern Iowa to try to come down and help out against him. That'll open up 3-point shooters.
Helligba, a pick and pop. Eggleseder, he's hit a 3 in the 7-footer. Puts in his second from long range.
He only hit 1 all year coming into this game.
1 of 9. He's hit 2 in the first half.
Their best 3-point shooter is an 11% shooter on the year. Wow.
Aldrich the screen, pick and pop with Collins. The 7-footer on the Kansas side answers the 7-footer of Northern Iowa.
Now that's really not the best part of Aldrich's game, but he's gotten better with that short jump shot.
Here's a Helligba. He is from Oakdale, Minnesota. Over Collins. Rebound by Aldridge, number 4. Quick double on Collins. Marcus Morris. Picked up by Moran.
Great blockouts inside.
Ahead. And Eagleseder could not find the handle. And Aldridge had gotten back there. Here comes Sharon the other way with the acceleration right by a Helligba. Oh, he shifted gears. And the heart and soul of this Kansas team, who Bill Self the other day said hands down is the best guard that he has had at Kansas in his 7 years, comes up with a big play and pulls the Hawks to within 2.
You take a risk if you're Northern Iowa. You might have to pay for it.
Farokhmanesh, good! He hits his second consecutive tray.
Now that's not a risk.
Collins for 3. Eagleseder gobbles it up. Another rebound for him. He's got 2.
And Farokhmanesh slows it down a little bit.
Helligba knocked away by Aldridge. Shot clock at 12. Reed is on Farokhmanesh. Screen by Cook. That was deflected. Very active Xavier Henry right in the way of that passing lane. So 5 seconds will be on the shot clock when we come back. Northern Iowa by 5.
Some unlikely three-point shooters, Eagleseder, and somebody who's much more likely, Ali Farokhmanesh.
Both these teams, their conference's regular season and postseason tournament champions. Kansas has led for all of 45 seconds in this first half.
And that young man sitting on the bench, Ali Farokhmanesh, he's had a lot to do with it. He hadn't missed a shot today. 4 for 4 from the field, including 3 3-pointers. This is Jay Cook at the line shooting 1-on-1.
He's a freshman from suburban Green Bay, Wisconsin. Literally grew up in the shadows of Lambeau Field. There's his older brother there on the left, Adam Cook, and their dad was a terrific high school player from Green Bay, Premontre, and he went to play at Wisconsin Stevens Point. And they got another tall one back here sitting in back of us, and he's in elementary school. Taylor, Xavier Henry, Collins, Markieff Morris, and Aldridge, the Kansas 5 on the floor. This is a Taylor 3. Rebound, Markieff. O'Rear was in there wrestling with it. And that's a pretty good description as well of what was going on. Little bit physical inside for O'Rear, who picks up his first personal foul.
O'Rear is only 6'6". Those mutton chops there notwithstanding, they don't make him any taller. And so it's very, very difficult inside. He weighs 255 pounds, but battling both Markieff Morris and Aldridge is a big task.
Northern Iowa's taken 3 more free throw attempts than KU. As you take a look at some of the numbers through our first half, Farokhmanesh has been terrific with the 4 of 4 display. Marcus Morris again leading Kansas this afternoon as he did the other night against Lehigh.
Now the difference so far has been Northern Iowa's ability to knock down 3-point shots.
Dunham is out there with Sonnen. Helligba back on the floor. O'Rear and the freshman Cook. That's the 5 out there for the Panthers. Taylor is on a Helligba. They've got Collins on the freshman who's got it right now, Sonnen. Little switch right there by Kansas defensively. They bring Aldridge out because he's on O'Rear. Xavier has got Dunham. Shot clock at 8. Cook, Markieff on him. O'Rear, a fresh shot clock, exactly what Northern Iowa wants, to run down the clock a bit.
What a great play by Mark Sonnen. I don't know how he tipped that ball away from Cole Aldridge, but he did. Northern Iowa, usually they're pretty good at the end of the shot clock, but actually they haven't executed very well in the last 10 seconds in terms of getting a good shot. They did get that offensive rebound. Kansas defense just smothering here. Tyshawn Taylor doing a great job against the Helligba.
Quick double on a Helligba, shot clock at 4. Taylor, he lasers it inside to O'Rear. On the tip, he beat the shot clock and he taps it back up and in. And O'Rear comes off the bench with his 3rd point right there.
O'Rear did a great job because both Morris and Aldridge went for the block, and when the ball hit the rim, O'Rear was in a great position to tip it.
Xavier Henry, Sharon Collins, Son on it with the good defense. O'Rear.
Just what we talked about there, it's very difficult to get by those guys out on the perimeter.
Northern Iowa, by the way, the 2nd best defensive team in all of college basketball, allowing only 54 points a game. That's what they hang their hat on. Under a minute to play in the first half. Jake Cook. Another offensive rebound. The hustle right there by Sonnen. He's got 6 rebounds.
Boy, and in particular, they're doing a good job getting the long rebounds.
Rear with another screen. Heligba has the mismatch on Aldridge. Is it off of Collins? They're going to discuss. It will be Kansas's ball. Well, coming up, the AT&T at the half from our CBS studios in New York with Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, and Seth Davis. Live game look-ins, which we always enjoy. A lot of tournament news to get caught up on, and the AT&T Naismith Watch. That's coming up next here on CBS. Here comes Anthony James off the Northern Iowa bench. And Farokhmanesh has also come in for the Panthers. Kansas will take out Taylor. They will put in Tyrell Reed. No shot clock. What you see is what remains. Sharon Collins is only 1 of 4 so far, Dan.
Well, Aldridge came up to set a screen and Collins waved him away.
He held. Tie up. Lucas O'Rear, 7th Kansas turnover.
We talked about the ability of Northern Iowa to come and help, and Collins just dribbles it right to O'Rear, who steps at him. And O'Rear, he might have a problem with the strength against Aldridge, but he can match Sharon Collins.
Henry and Reed check out. Tyshawn Taylor comes back in the contest, as does Morningstar. Here comes Marcus Morris back in the contest.
Well, Kevin, if you're not going to guard anybody else in this sequence, you got to go find Ali Farokhmanesh.
3 seconds. Heligba picked up by Collins. Nope, did not get it off in time. A lot of interesting numbers here. One of which stands out, points off turnovers. 11-3, +8 for Northern Iowa. And look at the shooting of a guy that needed to shoot well in this game, Farokhmanesh.
They've really played well, stymieing a very, very potent Kansas offense in the first half.
We'll send you to Greg Gumbel with the AT&T at the half. After this, you're watching CBS Sports. Welcome back to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Our broadcast today is being brought to you in high definition by LG. Life is good. Kansas has just 6 points in the paint, just 6 free throw attempts. That is our halftime score. Right now, the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports Network. Watch CBS College Sports Network's continuing coverage of the NCAA tournament.
You see Ali Farokhmanesh, she's 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, and the three-point basket, I think, has really served Northern Iowa well in this game. Bill Self was worried about the ability of the Panthers to stretch the defense with the 3. Ali Farokhmanesh has made 3. Other guys have made 3. They've got 6, and I think that's very, very important for the Panthers.
He had the game-winning shot the other night, which kind of brought thoughts of a time before.
Well, on your right is his shot the other night, and on the left is the shot of one Maurice Newby from 1990. And would you say they are eerily similar? The 1990 shot beat Missouri. Ali Farokhmanesh and his shot, they beat UNLV. The only 2 wins for the Northern Iowa Panthers in the NCAA tournament.
Well, you've got to believe now that Sharon Collins, as Ben Jacobson has warned his team, is going to come out. This is his time. He shifted into gear against Lehigh the other night with a terrific second half stretch. Tonight, he has started 1 of 4, 0 of 3 from three-point territory with a couple of points, 2 assists and 2 turnovers.
Well, the amazing stat there, Kevin, is only 4 field goal attempts for Sharon Collins. The defense by Northern Iowa has done a nice job limiting his ability in the offensive end. Man-to-man.
Taylor, Marcus Morris, Sharon Collins, Aldridge down low. And Xavier Henry, the Kansas 5. Aldridge into Eggleseder. Just exactly what they needed. Points inside. Establish that lane.
Well, they made Eggleseder move. You know, the penetration, Eggleseder had to come out and help to stop it. Then he had to help on the screen. Nice job by Sharon Collins.
That's a good point. Adam Cook is in there. Moran with the ball. Eggleseder, Helligba, and Farokhmanesh, the 5 out there for Northern Iowa. Nice rejection by Cole Aldridge, who is a 6th leading shot blocker in college basketball and showing some good D here.
Aldridge really disciplined on the inside. Eggleseder backed him in and tried to give him a fake, and Aldridge wasn't buying it.
Aldridge, a single-season Kansas record holder in block shots. 118 in the postseason in the Big 12 and in the regular season. Xavier Henry, who just turned 19, into Marcus Morris. Xavier Henry off of Aldridge, out of bounds. It'll be Northern Iowa's ball.
Now, Kansas did not score on that particular possession, but I think Bill Self has to be satisfied with the way they operated on offense. They moved the ball from side to side. They forced Northern Iowa to move around, the defenders to move around before they tried that penetration to the basket.
What is stunning is Kansas had 28 halftime points. They're averaging 82. Eggleseder right on the doorstep with another rebound by Aldridge. He's collected 7. Here comes Collins. Into a Helligba. Xavier Henry knocked away. Moran with the knockaway, numbers the other way. Farokhmanesh. Oh, what a pass! Right into Adam Cook. His first 2. Tyshawn Taylor.
See, that shot's too quick. You've got to make that defense move around so you have a shot at some offensive rebounds. Uh-oh.
Farokhmanesh.
That may have been a little out of his range.
And a little quick.
That was very quick.
A foul on Kansas defensively.
Marcus Morris.
That's his 3rd personal foul.
But Farokhmanesh out in transition. Nice job by Tyshawn Taylor. Doesn't give him the 3, but then the behind-the-back pass. This is really something. Cole Aldridge, I think, was a little surprised by that particular pass. Wow.
Markeith Morris, his twin brother. They're from Philadelphia. He has now taken his place. Moran, Henry on him. Helligba picked up by Collins. Cook will bring out Markeith. Eggleseder will be guarded by Aldridge out around the circle.
We talked about Cook before the game. He's only attempted 1 shot.
Eggleseder. He has 2 first-half threes. He's just given Northern Iowa their biggest lead. He's got 12 points. That is a game high.
And that was a tough shot.
Collins 1 of 5. A 3 here. 0 of 4 above the arc for Sharon Collins.
Again, the ball never got to the other side of the court, Kevin. Kansas has to be a little more patient on offense.
Moran with a 3. Picked up by Collins. Leading it. Northern Iowa can't get set on defense. That is a plan at Kansas, because when Northern Iowa gets set on the defensive end, that's when they're most rugged.
According to the stats at halftime, Kansas only had 2 fast break points, so that makes 4 now, which means Northern Iowa has done a great job taking away a key component of the Kansas offense so far.
And Collins has 4. Eggleseder, good passer. In fact, both men are good passers out of a double, out of a matchup. He hits again. He is having the game of his life against one of the best centers in college basketball, Aldridge. As we have a shove inside, this is going to go on Northern Iowa. Eggleseder has 14 points for the Panthers.
Well, Eggleseder has made 2 really amazing baskets. A fall-away shot sort of off the wrong foot. That is a very difficult shot. Nothing wrong with this defense by Cole Aldridge. You force your opponent to sort of fall away off the wrong foot. That's not a bad job, but he's making everything so far in the second half.
Dunham will check in, and Farokhmanesh will check out for Northern Iowa. Tyrell Reed has come in for KU. And here is Xavier Henry. Collins over a Hellebuck. Rebound, another one. This is by Sonnen, his first. They get second of the game. Jake Cook is now in. He just had the ball. Here's a Hellebuck. Collins is on him. Screen by O'Rear, taking the place of Eggleseder. Cook with the miss, and Xavier Henry cleans it up for the Jayhawks. He has his 5th rebound this afternoon.
And again, Northern Iowa really does a nice job getting back on defense, forcing Kansas to play against the set defense. That's just a mismatch in there. Sonnen gets the foul, but Aldrich, O'Rear really can't handle him.
Sonnen is only 6'3". One of the more dazzling plays in this surprising second-round game. The highly decorated Sherron Collins of Kansas.
And those are 8 championships out of a possible 11. He's working on a 12th, which would be the NCAA tournament championship. But they're in trouble right at the moment.
Morningstar. The 3rd turnover by Sherron Collins, who has only shot 2 of 8 from the field. He's screened by O'Rear.
Kansas has been very, very impatient in their half-court offense.
5 minutes gone in the second half. And here is O'Rear taking the place of Eggleseder, and away from the ball. Looked like Xavier Henry got tangled up. One freshman going up against another. And Cook was crossing the lane, and Henry picks up his first personal foul for KU.
Cujo Aheligba set a screen, and Henry just tried to get through it with a forearm, and you're not allowed to do that.
Well, as every minute goes by, you got to believe the pressure slowly building on this mid-major Northern Iowa, leading the #1 seed. On the #1 seed, struggling here today. Hellebuck over Collins. Rebound by Henry.
And again, Northern Iowa only sending one guy to the offensive boards. They're really concentrating on getting back in transition defense.
Xavier Henry for 3, his second this afternoon.
And that's a great pass by Sherron Collins to recognize that the defense is really bunched in the lane. Passed it all the way across that defense for the open shot.
Good point. 4 assists for Sherron Collins on 3 turnovers this afternoon. Hellebuck 6'2", Collins at 5'11". They double team Cook. Freshman against freshman. Shot clock at 9. O'Rear screen. The switch on defense. Now they got Markieff Morris on a Hellebuck. Shot clock at 3. The 3. It was volleyballed by Cook. O'Rear has it. No over and back. And it goes back to Northern Iowa. O'Rear. Oh, what a nice pass inside. But Cook couldn't get it. But he does draw the foul out of the Kansas D. Nice 3-point shooting by Northern Iowa this afternoon, and Farokhmanesh has authored a lot of these threes.
Well, Ali Farokhmanesh has made 3 3-point baskets in the game. None so far in the second half, but he really got Northern Iowa off and going. The 3-point basket really a big play for the Panthers in the first half.
Cook at the line. Farokhmanesh is going to check in. His dad was a volleyball player for the Iranian national team. His mom was a volleyball coach up in the state of Washington, now at the University of Iowa. They met on the volleyball circuit, and Ali takes with great pride the athletic endeavors of both his parents. Cook. There is his father. 13.5 to play. Morningstar. Reed. Biggest lead for Northern Iowa has been 10. Kansas has led for all of 47 seconds by 2. Point blank missed by Markieff Morris.
Great block out once again.
Kansas 41% from the field. Farokhmanesh is screened by Adam Cook. He drives about as much as any player on this team. As you take a look at some of the numbers from the tournament so far, as Markieff Morris picks up his second personal foul for KU.
Well, the amazing thing, the 1 seeds have been winning by a lot, but they're in trouble here. And how about Michigan State? We're in the second round of the NCAA tournament, only on the first day of the second round, and Michigan State's the only Final Four team left. Of course,
Aldridge has come in for Markieff Morris. The drive by Farokhmanesh. And picked up by Reed.
And Cole Aldridge didn't block that shot, but he had a lot to do with Farokhmanesh taking a tough one.
Sharon Collins met a double. They look inside for the double team. Aldridge, another turnover by Kansas. They've got 12.
Again, just too impatient in the half court.
Northern Iowa is plus 12 points off turnovers this afternoon. So they have been very opportunistic when they've gotten the ball from KU. Cook, three, good! The freshman, timeout taken by Kansas, Jake Cook, who in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament Final put in 13 points, buried 3 threes, and he's just given the Panthers from the Missouri Valley Conference their biggest lead this afternoon over KU. And moments ago, Northern Iowa had their first turnover in 15.5 minutes of this game.
Well, this is really a nice job by Kansas. They just stay after the ball. That was after Northern Iowa blocked the shot, and Morris gets the steal. Kansas now trying to apply defensive pressure.
Both teams shooting 41%. You see the steal story right there. Farokhmanesh.
1-2-1-1, half-court trap.
Eagle-Cedar is in with his 14 points and 14 minutes on the floor. Screen by Cook. The switch on defense. Now back to Reed on another screen. Another three for Farokhmanesh. Offensive rebound by Adam Cook. Wide open. Dunham. Good looking drive. Count it for 2. And a foul. Put in by Kerwin Dunham.
How's this for a response?
Right into the teeth of the Kansas defense. Free throw line where Northern Iowa finds themselves right now. Marcus Morris for Kansas with just 7 after having 26 in game 1 against Lehigh. And Sharon Collins, 3 of 10. But this is about the time that Kansas usually shifts into gear. How will Northern Iowa handle that?
Well, they really need some contributions from Xavier Henry, I think.
Collins right down the middle with 6.
See, that's a nice job by Aldridge to set a screen. Eagle-Cedar just not fast enough to come off that screen and help a Heligba.
Now, if you're Northern Iowa, how do you hold on to this game with 10.5 to play?
Well, I think you do what you've done so far, and that is you execute very well on offense.
Oh, what a pass indeed. It was thrown high by Dunham. And then climbing the ladder was Adam Cook.
You execute on offense, and you keep Kansas in front of you on defense.
Collins and a Heligba. And Tyrell Reed throws it inside to Marcus Morris. What a beautiful pass, and look how long away it was.
Well, Dunham sees the opportunity, and Adam Cook, the Missouri Valley Player of the Year, in fact, 2-time Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, just uses the screen down inside. That is a great offensive play run by Northern Iowa.
Adam Cook just picked up his second personal foul for Northern Iowa. Here is Collins into Adam Cook, and that is a foul. It'll be on Cook. And that will be number 3.
And what you're starting to see is Sharon Collins really forcing the action, but I don't say that in a manner that he's pressing. What he's doing is he's coming off those curls, he's coming off those screens, he's driving the ball right at Northern Iowa, forcing them to make decisions.
Jake Cook, younger brother of Adam, will check in for Northern Iowa, and here comes Collins. 4 of 11. Into a Heligba. Xavier Henry just picked up a foul for Kansas.
Well, he jumped right on top of Jake Cook. Now
that's the second on Henry.
Boy, Henry's doing a great job, but instead of grabbing the ball, I think he grabbed Jake Cook sort of around the head. And that's a foul. Now, of course, Kansas is going to be able to set its pressure.
Again, our broadcast by telling you that Bill Self, the Kansas coach, thought that this was as sound a team as Kansas has played in a long time, as Farokhmanesh was held by a couple defenders, Reed and Henry, and calls for the timeout. Ben Jacobson's team from the Missouri Valley leading Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks by 11. Bill Self, who grew up in nearby Edmond, Oklahoma, just north of Oklahoma City, played at Oklahoma State, was an assistant coach for Larry Brown as a graduate assistant back in that season where they went to the Final Four, 1986. Archie Marshall was on that team. He lost against Duke. Then he went to Oklahoma State, became an assistant, moved on to Oral Roberts, head coach at Tulsa, then at Illinois. Now at KU in his 7th season. A lot of friends and family here in Oklahoma City. Eggleseder over Aldrich. Good looking rebound by Xavier Henry, who collects number 7 for the KU Jayhawks. Approaching 9 to play in the game. Aldrich defended by Eggleseder, but he has a nice feel inside the paint.
Once he gets down on the block, in fact inside the block, you're not going to move him out of position.
He's got 13 points and 8 rebounds. Farokhmanesh with a 3. Rebound pulled down by Marcus Morris, his first of the game after having 10 the other night. Collins doubled. Aldrich tries to save it. Farokhmanesh the other way. Yep, he is. He came down wrong on his ankle. It's his right foot. Offensive rebound and out of bounds. Flying with the ball was Kerwin Dunham, and that is not a good sign for the Kansas big man. Let's see how he comes down here, and our cameras caught it at the other end of the floor.
Aldrich goes for that rebound, and he was falling out of bounds, and it was as he was trying to get himself back inbounds or get the ball back inbounds. Really did land awkwardly.
Markeith Morris is checked in, taking the place of the injured Aldrich. Xavier Henry. Marcus Morris for 3. Guarded by O'Rear. Eggleseder is still out and picked up on the rebound by Sonnen. Approaching 8 to play.
Man-to-man for Kansas. This is a hard team to pressure because they handle the ball so well and they shoot it so well.
O'Rear the screen. Farokhmanesh now with the little mismatch on Markeith Morris. A 3. Rebound by Collins. 3-on-2. Xavier Henry. On this 3, he's had a couple today. Offensive rebound taken by Marcus Morris. His second rebound today looked like he may have traveled. Tyrell Reed. 7.5 to go. Marcus Morris right into Cook. Beautiful play. He's got 9. 7-point game.
Northern Iowa has been disciplined the entire game. Kansas really turning up the pressure now.
Moran. Sonnen. Farokhmanesh for 3. O'Rear with an offensive rebound. Time after time, Northern Iowa has gotten their own misses.
Well, I think Farokhmanesh has now missed 5 in a row from out there.
After being so hot in the first half, there's a foul as they were trying to send Moran through a couple of Kansas defenders. Tyrell Reed will pick up his 3rd as they continue to work on Aldrich. Watch Morris right here. He was the star in game 1. Johnny Moran is at the free throw line for Northern Iowa. Moments ago, Cole Aldrich.
Right here, Cole Aldrich just turned his ankle. He stepped on the foot of Kerwin Dunham.
Kansas trying to go to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive year. Northern Iowa is trying to become the first Missouri Valley Conference team to go to the Sweet 16 since Larry Bird and Indiana State back in 1979. Tyshawn Taylor has come back in for KU with Marcus Morris, Markeith Morris. That's Brady Morningstar and Tyrell Reed, the Kansas 5. Markeith doubled. Tyshawn Taylor. Morningstar. Markeith Morris. Count it, and a foul. He's got 5 and bulldozing for 2.
This is a great job by Kansas showing patience in the half-court offense. They get the ball from one side to the other, then back Then they got plenty of time to take it inside a mismatch. Markieff Morris going against Kujoa Heligba in there.
Foul went on Heligba for the second time. O'Rear, Moran, Cook, Heligba right here. That's Adam Cook out there along with Dunham. That's the 5 out there for Northern Iowa. 6.5 to play. Heligba into Tyrell Reed. Off O'Rear, off Northern Iowa. It goes back to KU.
Really a nice job by Reed coming to help.
Kansas in the second half has outscored Northern Iowa in the paint 14-6. Sharon Collins is watching. Aldridge is watching. Screen by Markieff Morris. Tyshawn Taylor. Morningstar. Reed. 6 to play. Marcus Morris. Foul. Kerwin Dunham, they are beginning to attack inside.
Right, Kevin, you can see what they're doing. They're starting to move the ball from side to side on offense. They're setting some screens. They're just not keeping the ball on one side of the floor. And Northern Iowa, their defense is based so much on helping one another. If you move the ball from side to side, set a couple of screens, you're going to create some mismatches, and that's what Kansas has been doing, and they're taking advantage.
We mentioned this back in the first half, but the Jayhawks average 82 points a game. Number 5 in all of college basketball. You can see right now at 48. Farokhmanesh is in.
And Farokhmanesh, he made his first 3 from beyond the three-point arc. He has missed his last 5. If they're going to hold off the Jayhawks, they're going to need Farokhmanesh to start stroking that 3 again.
Eagleseder continues to sit on the bench with his 14 points. This is the closest it has been this half as Kansas is on a 10-2 run. Adam Cook and Johnny Moran. Reed is on him. Two terrific defensive teams on display. Collins back in the game. Adam Cook dancing with Markieff Morris. Big time bank shot put in by the conference player of the year. His first field goal with his 5th point right there since 5 minutes gone in the game.
A really good move, a physical move, but a good one. What is going on now? Guys all over the place.
Well, Collins, who had a hard time even breathing when he takes it inside, they just go onto him. Here goes Markieff Morris. He's got 8.
Well, Kansas offense starting to find its rhythm now in the half court. A little bit more patience, a little better execution.
Sharon Collins, who is 4 of 13 shooting this afternoon, is on a Heligba. 4.5 coming up in the second half. O'Rear with the screen. Heligba. Saved by KU and held by O'Rear was Sharon Collins. Chiseling away the top-seeded Jayhawks.
Well, they're creating some mismatches down inside, and they made the defense move. Help doesn't come in time, and Morris with the great catch on the inside. They're scoring on offense. They've turned up the heat on the defensive end.
How about this for Collins as Eagleseder will come back in and Lucas O'Rear will take a seat on the Northern Iowa bench for Sharon Collins. This is his first free throw attempt of the game. Here's Cole Aldridge coming in for Markieff Morris, who gave him some good minutes right there.
Well, he sure did. He was a big factor in this run that has helped them draw within 5.
Aldridge had turned his ankle. For those of you just joining us a couple minutes ago, they looked at it. He's back out there right now. Eagleseder, who just came off the bench, is the reason why Aldridge came back in the game. The 2 7-footers going head-to-head. Dan, the Jayhawks have now scored on their last 6 consecutive trips.
Well, they've gotten excellent shots, and that's been the key. Now you want to play good defense without fouling.
Farokhmanesh. Moran. Adam Cook. Marcus Morris on him. Moran for three. Good! What a hit! Johnny Moran puts it down. His second three-point hit this afternoon. Now Collins the other way. Tyshawn Taylor. Tyrell Reed. Aldridge quickly double. That means Taylor is free to fire. Missing the three. Picked up by Collins. His three. No. Egleseder had it. Aldridge climbing on his back. Sharon Collins 0 of 5 from three-point territory. 4 of 14 today. What a big-time three from Johnny Moran out of Algonquin, Illinois. 3.5 to play. Markieff Morris is watching Moran go to the other end for Northern Iowa.
And Northern Iowa is not really anxious to attack the basket off that press.
Farokhmanesh, there's a screen and a switch on defense. Now Marcus Morris is on Farokhmanesh. And the shot clock is down to 8. His three. Markieff Morris to Sharon Collins. Markieff has 3 rebounds so far for KU. Marcus Morris, guarded by a freshman. Foul. The 2 Cook brothers are in. That foul is going to go on Jake Cook, who picks up his first foul for the Panthers.
Well, the Cook brothers are in because Jordan Egleseder really doesn't play that well against the pressure that Kansas is trying to exert.
Northern Iowa is part of the Missouri Valley, and that conference has had teams in the Sweet 16 in 07, a couple teams in 06, 02, right on down the line. And if you go even further than that, go back to 1979. I sent a team to the Final Four with Larry Bird. 4 of 6 from the line. Marcus Morris.
Again, remember, Northern Iowa only has 1 timeout left, so they're going to have to get the ball in against pressure.
Great steal by Tyrell Reed. Inside Markieff Morris. That's only the 6th turnover by Northern Iowa today. Only 6. Kansas has had 13. Another wild pass. Another interception. Xavier Henry. Adam Cook a foul for Northern Iowa. He's got 4.
Boy, Northern Iowa simply not executing against the pressure. Farokhmanesh doesn't keep coming. He waits for the ball to come to him. Kansas gets it, and then they pound the offensive board. And that was a great. This is a great trap. That was a bad pass to start with. You can never complete that one thrown that far across the court. Wow. That's why you draw up the press, for your guy to go intercept that one.
Great move by Xavier Henry, the freshman, right here in Oklahoma City. His mom and dad both played college basketball at Kansas. 2.5. The Cook brothers on the floor. Moran, Maheliba with the ball, and Farokhmanesh for Northern Iowa. The Morris twins are on the floor. Reed and Collins and Henry out there for KU. Jake Cook.
Can't be afraid to shoot it.
Maheliba, 7 on the shot clock. Adam Cook, the senior with the 3. Offensive rebound and a foul called on Marcus Morris. The rebound was picked up by Adam Cook. And Marcus Morris picks up his 4th personal foul for KU.
Boy, Jake Cook just does a great job getting position on the inside, and Marcus Morris, very little choice there except to foul him. But that's a great job battling on the inside. 1 and 1.
5 of 6 from the line. Northern Iowa is led by 12. Kansas is led by 2. The Jayhawks have led for all of 47 seconds in this game this afternoon. Now creeping into the night here in the Midwest.
Now you want to pressure without fouling.
Collins has 10 points. Offensive foul. Adam Cook has come up big, this freshman redshirt.
Well, actually, I think that was Jake Cook. Number 20, that is Jake Cook. He just stands there and waits for Collins, who runs right over him.
5th turnover for Collins.
Collins has really had a struggle today. He's yet to make a three-point basket, and his penetration, his skill at penetration has really been limited today by this helping Northern Iowa defense.
Taylor is in, and Marcus Morris is checked out for KU.
Now, Kansas still has plenty of time. They don't need to panic. See, Northern Iowa's not really going to attack against the pressure, so they can really go all out when the ball is in the backcourt or this close to half court without worrying about whether Northern Iowa is going to go to the basket. Now, however, the Panthers are going to try. There's 10 seconds left in the shot clock.
Markeith Morris watching a Helligba. 3. That's Adam Cook. He's got 8. Northern Iowa by 7. Taylor doubled and fouled. Again, the Cook brothers were right there. And that will go on the freshman Adam Cook.
Well, you know, Kansas is doing what it wants to do. It's forcing Northern Iowa into long outside shots, but the last time down the court it was Jake Cook. This time Adam Cook getting offensive rebounds and scoring points.
Tyshawn Taylor has nothing today to show for his work. 0 of 5 from the floor. Taylor is 0 of 4 from 3 and hits his first right there. Marcus Morris comes back out for his twin, Markeith.
Kansas only 5 of 20 shooting threes today.
1 timeout for Northern Iowa and 2 timeouts for Kansas. Big ones right there. Morning Star is in for Tyrell Reed.
And remember, Northern Iowa's had a problem in this half getting the ball in bounds.
Moran, they got 1 timeout. Off of Northern Iowa.
And that's actually a really good play by Xavier Henry, because I do not think anybody touched that ball, so it's going to be out of bounds down underneath the Kansas basket. Henry just gets in his way.
Good point. You can see him pull back his hands.
Well, now in soccer, that would be a violation because he wasn't within playing distance of the ball, but there's no such thing in basketball.
How about Northern Iowa? They go most of the game almost flawless in terms of turnovers, but they've had 3 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes of this one.
Well, the pressure in the last 2.5 minutes has been really intense.
Collins 4 of 14. Taylor is 0 of 5. Marcus Morris, a lot of congestion inside the lane. And Adam Cook has picked up his 3rd personal foul for the Panthers.
I actually think they called it on Jake Cook.
Jake Cook, you're right. Although, nope, it was Jake Cook, yep.
Well, they're not giving him anything on the inside. Again, that's not a bad foul by Jake Cook, but Kansas attacking, forcing the help defense to come.
Marcus Morris at the line. Today, 3 of 5. 12 points right there, 4 rebounds. And 53.8.
Northern Iowa's got to block out. They've had a tough time with that on occasion here in the second half, and they've got to get the ball inbounds. They've really struggled to do that here in the last couple of minutes.
Morning Star setting a check in for KU.
Morning Star is in there for defensive purposes. He's their best perimeter defender. So they've got 3 really strong perimeter defenders in there.
Jake Cook to inbound. Stepped out of bounds. What defense by Marcus Morris. Helligba running out of room. Another turnover.
Well, he's just trying to beat Morris, and Morris does a nice job. Clearly steps on the line. Morris, that's a situation where if Morris tries to take the charge, he probably picks up a foul. Good discipline by Marcus Morris on the defensive end.
Reed is back in. Here's Collins. A Helligba will defend. This is the closest it has been since 3-2. Timeout Kansas. They've got one left, and Northern Iowa has one timeout remaining. A 6-0 run by KU. And as they've done so many times this season, Sherron Collins answers. More full court pressure by Kansas, paying dividends.
Well, how big is this play going to be in this basketball game as Morris does not commit the foul but forces a Heligba. You know, the court's only 94 feet long, and he went 94 and a couple of inches. Look at
parents of the players. That's Eggleseder's mom with her head in her hands.
Well, now for Northern Iowa, this is the most difficult thing they've had to do here is get the ball inbound. And
Jay Cook will take care of that.
Right, and no matter what happens on this possession, unless there's a foul by Kansas, Kansas is going to get the ball back. Northern Iowa is going to have to shoot it before the shot clock runs out. Oh, my.
Farokhmanesh, a three.
Good! You can't be serious with that shot.
Collins the other way. Tyrell Reed. Offensive foul. Farokhmanesh has just buried his fourth three-point shot today. Reed picks up his fourth personal foul.
Now they run down the court. Farokhmanesh takes a look, and even with there's 36 seconds left in the game, and he figures, I'm open. That is a huge shot.
Heligba calls the final timeout for Northern Iowa. 23.4. Shot clock is off. The 9 seed on top of the 1 seed.
All through the second half, Northern Iowa hasn't really attacked this pressure, but I tell you what, when Farokhmanesh is in the game, there's no such thing as standing around waiting. He's going to take the fight to you. And the important thing, obviously, about that three is it gives Northern Iowa a 4-point lead, so it's a 2-possession game. Northern Iowa now out of timeouts, but Kansas has to get the ball twice.
Reed and Taylor, Marcus Morris, Xavier Henry and Collins out there for KU. A Heligba foul by Collins.
Heligba is 73% free throw shooter.
Collins picks up his third.
And each team over the 10 foul limit, so there'll be 2 shots by a Heligba.
And again, as we've said, the last Missouri Valley Conference tournament champion to reach the Sweet 16 was Larry Bird in Indiana State back in 1979. The Sycamores went on to the Final Four in the championship game. We've had many Missouri Valley Conference teams make it over the last handful of years as that conference continues to grow and gain respect. A Heligba.
That's still a 2-possession game, but now if you're Kansas, you don't need to settle for the 3. You've got to score and score quickly.
Tyshawn Taylor. Sherron Collins for 3. Marcus Morris, Tyshawn Taylor. Reed, 6 seconds left. Timeout Kansas. 3-point game, 6.2. Now both teams are out of timeouts.
And Kansas does a great job maintaining possession of the ball, and they're within 3.
Well, they've been the number 1 seed before. You go back to 98 and 92. You can see second-round losses. Kansas has not lost a second-round game since 2000. 7 straight wins in this round.
Now, Northern Iowa, number 1, they have to get it in bounds, and he can run along the baseline. Number 2, they have to handle it without turning it over, and then they're going to have to make some free throws.
No timeouts either way. Farokhmanesh gets it on the inbound by Jay Cook.
And an 86% free throw shooter who has made 2 of the biggest shots in Northern Iowa basketball history is now going to the line to see if he can make at least 1 more.
His first trip this afternoon tonight to the free throw line for Ali Farokhmanesh.
Isn't this something?
Taylor, Marcus Morris. Point 4. They do. On the first day of spring, number 1 has fallen. Farokhmanesh had 4 threes in this game, but none bigger than this one. He finishes with 16. And that proved to be the dagger. The top-seeded Jayhawks, the number 1 overall seed, has fallen to Northern Iowa.